Hi guys, Maruki Mwenyi here.
It's Linda KM.
And we're back again with another episode of
The Messy In Between.
It's Definitely TMI.
I love every time I look at you. I'm trying to get the guidance of like, okay, where are we going?
Yeah. No, I didn't even look at this camera for the It's Definitely TMI. I was just like, I just looked at you the whole time. Did you look at it at all?
I
just like, it's definitely
and you're
TMI.
wearing bright colors. It's not my fault.
Yeah.
It's not my fault. Sorry,
so
Bear.
Cute.
It's hard.
If you're listening on a podcast platform, we're in very bright colors today. Ladies in orange, I'm in pink, and we're just feeling so cute and sunshine.
We do.
I love it.
And lately, I'm drawn to bright colors. I don't know, it's like kind of an expression of like, you know, just to get some sunshiny.
Yeah.
I'm really, even the last things I've bought have been bright colors.
Which is actually it's changing. 33 has changed you.
It's changed me. I'm a new person.
You're clearly a new person.
I am. I'm so glad.
Maybe we are figuring out our like personal style as time goes by.
I think so. What happened to that, by the way?
Oh, I'm still in the journey.
You're still in the journey. I feel like we had said that we're going to really be specific about our personal style. What's your personal style?
Me, I already established it, but have I been living it? No, not exactly. But I already established that the things I like to wear are like, you see what I'm wearing today is like singular bold color.
Yeah.
I like singular bold color.
Yeah.
That's what I like. But do I wear other things other times? Yeah, because I guess I'm a billionaire. Just changed my entire wardrobe in one day.
You definitely can't.
That's
But laziness has got us here, and here we are, and we absolutely love it. Thank you so much, guys, for all the messages of condolences about my car. As of today's 27. Like we still 28th. We still don't know much. If you've ever dealt with someone coming up from abroad, passing away abroad, it's a long dance. But funny enough, we had said we're not going to shoot this week for next week, but then now it's now possibly going to be next week. So this is why we're here. But thank you so much, guys. I'm feeling better. I had a horrible day on Friday, but it's like once the release was gone, I've been a bit more in my body, more proactive. I worked out today. Great. Yes,
that's fantastic.
In 2 weeks.
And you ate good food after that. We already know that if you work out, if you eat well, if you drink water, if you get your 7 to 9 hours of sleep in a night, you know that you're gonna feel better.
Yeah.
But
you don't. I've been feeling like apathy, not inspired, not wanting to do anything, which is a big part of how you feel when you're grieving. And so it's like I don't want to do anything, so I don't do anything, including not working out and taking your body and drinking enough water. Then you feel worse. And then you continue to not want to do the things that you know that are going to make. I hate that cycle so much, and it was so hard to break it. I had to wake up so early to get to that boxing class, but I just knew how I feel. I woke up with a heavy heart, which is very new for me.
Oh, really?
Very new. That is not a feeling I'm used to. But once you box,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, but this season I feel like just extending yourself grace, because like today you did that, next week you could be like, okay, you're a bum all week, which could start, but you just know we are just literally at the beginning of the year. And even though this season, of like waiting for your kuka and all the arrangements feels like it's taking so long, by the end of the year this will seem like it was a really small portion of time.
Right?
Yeah,
and now it feels like time has stood still.
This is the thing. I know
2 weeks since it's passing.
Yeah.
Is it? Yes.
It feels like it was a minute ago.
No.
Yeah. Anyway, it's going right now. It just feels like it's a lot of time, but actually, the time will just pass and you'll be like, "Wow, that was 1 month." And
it
was done.
It will. Just like when Zach went away. Who always remember that episode, that dark time.
Oh God, that was like the worst.
And here we are.
Imagine he came back, and now it's just like we're back to fighting as usual. It's just great. It's like I was never here crying, Lord, if you bring my man back,
I would change.
I'll cherish him. I would never
change. That's what she used to tell us all the time. I will appreciate everything he does.
I'm still appreciating, just like in a different way.
Just in a different way.
And
we already said, guys, part of appreciation is subscribing. And why do we say this? Because it matters, it supports us, it helps our channel grow, it helps us be able to make money so that we can continue bringing production, please guys subscribe. And I know you think you've subscribed, but you haven't.
Yeah,
and we say this every video until we get to like 70% subscribed. Maybe we'll give you guys a break.
Please guys, let us get there. Now, in today's episode, guys, we decided that we wanted to have a conversation about things that we have opinions about, because generally in the universe of all the episodes we've done since we said TMI, we give our opinions on many different things, but we wanted one repository where it's just like, what is their opinion on this, or have they ever said anything about this? This is the episode that you come to. So we asked you guys on Instagram. Of course, you're following us on Instagram, TMI Podcast KE, Lydia KM Olukimunyi. We asked you guys, tell us what is something you'd like our opinion on. And to be honest, the responses were like deeper than I thought they were going to be.
I love it. I actually thought it would just be like,
just go. But now,
literally every single one. So we decided to make this a 2-part series.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a lot to go on. Exactly. Let's just start with one, which is like, I am so tired of other women asking what we think about this. Feminism. What do you think about feminism? There are a lot of blurry lines on that one. Are there?
A lot
Feminism is wanting men and women to have equal rights, socially, economically, politically. That's it. That's the bottom line. So we don't need to be asking. Imagine men how they look at us when we are arguing about feminism.
You know what I think actually makes people confused about feminism is that it is the word itself, feminism. It has a connotation. First, it's like because of how some of like the more radical, but also because feminism, it almost sounds like you are just favoring women, only women. Whereas it's more like everyone want all of us to be at the same level, all of us to have the exact same opportunities and the same, be seen the same, have the same level of security, etc. So technically, it's almost like, to me, feminism in my head is almost just like humanity. It's being human.
Why wouldn't you want us?
That's the thing. And then the fact that women, historically, we are the ones who literally had to fight for our right to vote, our right to inherit land, our right to literally make any decision about ourselves. We are just trying to get women to the same level as men are. So literally, read the book, Chimamanda Ngozi's book, We Should All Be Feminists. It will really open your eyes as to what people think feminism is and what feminism is actually. And you realize it doesn't make sense for any human being alive to not be a feminist.
And here's the thing, but as far as what the word stands for and things like that, I think enough is said about what actually feminism is. So now I am actually convinced that there is some comfort in the ignorance, in the saying that. And I think there's many women who will not stand in a room, especially where men are, and say that they're feminist. And not because
they're pick-me's.
Many,
you don't wanna appear to be a feminist.
Like, we're all women, and somebody asks, are we feminists? And a lot of women have their hands down. And it's like, if first of all, you are researching, if he texts me and if I text him and doesn't respond, then does he love me? You're Googling that, but you don't want to Google what really is feminism.
Right,
so it's an ignorance that you want to sit in, because maybe you don't want to be the one who stands out in front of people, especially men, and say that you're a feminist because you don't want that mark or whatever that comes with it. I decided a long time ago that I know exactly what feminist stands for and what it actually means. And because every single movement has got a negative connotation, just like Black Lives Matter, there were like some extremists and there were things that were being done in the name of that movement that were negative. But we chose not to go to hide away, because we knew what the true movement was really about. And sometimes you have to do that. And I really need more women to stand up.
I need more women to stand up. And I feel like if you don't understand what feminism is, there is too much information on the internet. A lot of information, which sometimes I recognize sometimes can also be overwhelming, because like sometimes you Google feminism and then you might see this article which is like a radical feminist, you might see someone else saying no, actually feminism is this, but I feel like it's up to us to be able to discern and be able to, just the same way you look online for parenting resources, for recipes and things, and you get a million, but you'll be like, yeah, this one makes sense to me as a concept. It's up to us to actually do that, because we've
got to do it. So in short, we are feminists.
Thank you. And TMI is a feminist podcast.
Yes, and in words and in actions, from how we hire to who we're looking to work with, to what our views are and what the kind of conversation we talk about, all of it.
Absolutely. TMI, what is your opinion on a guy wanting to be with you just because of your body?
I have an opinion on him telling you that. I have
Yeah,
an opinion.
but
on
would
him
I
telling
feel
that.
like would men actually say that?
So
Is
then
it
how
that
do you know?
you just feel like he only
There you
wants to
go.
be with, yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So I have an issue if somebody tells you I am with you only for your body. That's an obvious get out.
Disrespectful, yeah.
But is it you who's perceiving it that way? Let's discuss that. Let's have a conversation about that first.
Yeah. I feel like there are many times that women also want to be with a guy in a casual manner just for their body, so to speak.
Facts.
Just for, so it's kind of like it depends on the situation. If the guy is being disrespectful and being like, oh, I don't even want you to talk when we're having sex because I'm just with you for your body. Now, that's a different conversation. But someone, in fact, if a guy is open about like, oh, I just want us to, be sexual friends, but I'm really not interested in pursuing something long term. That's something you might want as well. And you two could align and you two could have a fantastic time together that doesn't result in a marriage proposal.
Yeah.
However, I mean, it just depends on where you are. I also feel like no one is tied anywhere. If he says that's all he wants and you're not into it, just say, just be like, sorry, I'm not able to.
And we are all with people for like different things. And
That's it.
apparently, how somebody looks is not supposed to be one of the reasons I'm
Come
with them.
come on, guys.
Yeah,
Also, you guys writing on your profile, I'm looking for someone tall, dark, and handsome. Please, you're also wanting him for his body.
It's something. What's your opinion on opening up to my BF that I know he's adopted? He doesn't know that I know, about to marry.
What?
I would not tell him.
Yeah,
That's
because
why.
I would ask what is the reason why you want to tell him?
I guess because that's a big thing you know about your partner and he doesn't know it.
He doesn't know that you know.
He doesn't know that you know. And maybe he doesn't know that he is.
No, I think he knows that he is.
But she seems to believe that he doesn't.
No, she just said, and he doesn't know that I know. That's what she said. No,
but then there's nothing to talk about. If you know you're adopted
and I know that you know, just that you're not the one who told me. So maybe I found out from like your brother or your sister. I would say that if it's information that he has not felt comfortable to share with you, what is the value of you bringing it up unless you want to? Yeah, I just feel like what would be the value of doing that?
Yeah, and I feel like as adults, one of the big things we have to have is discernment with information.
Yeah.
This idea that everything always has to be shared, I think is a bit like no. It's not that just now you say about to be married so that we can know that because marriage is coming up, everything has to be out in the air. It doesn't. If you found out in a way that you shouldn't have found out, and this is a really sensitive thing, I don't think you should say anything.
Yeah. Also,
it changes nothing, I guess.
That's the thing. What does it change? Because also, would it?
But what if he doesn't know?
If he doesn't know, that's different. Definitely tell him because your allegiance should be with him 100%. If he doesn't know me, I'll tell him.
Yeah.
If it's just that he doesn't know that you know, first of all, you telling him might impact his relationship with whoever told you. So that's problematic. Two, maybe he might start having now an identity or whatever crisis of just
that
like, it just changes so many things. So I feel like unless you have a really good reason for wanting to bring up that conversation, keep it to yourself. TMI, what's your opinion on sex during periods?
Muruki already told us.
Girl, like periods, all we know is periods of our lives. That's all we are doing is periods of sexual pleasure. That's all we know. Periods of sexual lubrication. That's all we are saying. Yeah.
I'm not going out of my way to do it.
I'm also not
absolutely. I'm not saying horny. Like it's happening.
Yeah. Also, I don't tend to get horny during my periods.
Neither do I.
Yeah. So I feel like I'm open to doing it. It's just like if the situation presents itself, I will do it. But usually around my period, I'm feeling bloated, I'm feeling uncomfortable, I'm feeling gassy. So more often than not, I don't end up doing it. But I'm not.
I feel all of those just before, but during my period, I feel nothing. So if like my man is like getting it and he's like, if he makes me hot, then me, I feel normal by the way during it.
Really?
Yeah, I'll have like unless I have cramps like here and there, I don't feel anything.
So me, before, I don't feel much body-wise, but emotionally, I feel like first of all, I have cravings, intense sugar cravings, and then also I'm very, very moody. I'm very, very moody. For then during, it's the bloating, the gas, again the moodiness, and the fact that this is going to continue until, for all we know, are 55. 55. Girl.
Yeah. TMI, what's your opinion on Kenyan creatives and politics/pressing issues in Kenya? To what extent are they obligated? I guess you meant obligated to say something about it. For me, I feel like the problem here tends to be authentic, but the way we want you to be. Right? Because Once, for example, now we're talking about someone who had this preview or like this review of an episode that we did, and what tends to happen is that people don't see what you're saying as just what you're saying. It becomes you have a platform, you have a voice, what you say
you have a responsibility,
to the it becomes so intense. So when there's a pressing issue, one, especially, I'm not like, I don't have enough information on it, or I know it's very polarizing, I am going to tread very, very carefully, because I have a sea of an audience, right? And it's not because I don't have a right to have an opinion, but I feel like there's a place when sometimes I feel like there's a responsibility. Anything pertaining women, for me, I feel like I'm standing up. I'm up. I'm going to say something about it, because that's something which to me tends to be super clear cut, that I'm a woman, there's something that's affecting women, I want to say something about it. But personally, I tend to judge people who don't say things about the things which I'm really standing up about. And I think that's what everyone does. That's what everybody does. However, in truth, you don't have to say anything. You don't, because there's too many implications about a lot of things. You have international clients. Let's say you're talking about something that's an international issue. That might affect you. And someone is allowed to care how their bank account is going to be affected if they say something.
But people will not allow you to have that. I actually feel some kind of way when I go on a creator space. This wasn't in Kenya, but there's a creator who I follow. She's like a makeup content creator in the States. And everything she posts, people are always posting in the comments about Palestine, about Israel. Literally every single post they comment that. And sometimes I'm just like, I feel like to some extent for me, there are some certain issues which, depending on where I am, like you're saying, if it means a lot to you, like the women issue, the femicide issue, if me as a female content creator didn't say something about it, I feel like I just feel the pressure myself personally. And I will be like, if by just mentioning something, which is like everybody is not necessarily, we're not polarized about all women in Kenya care about not being killed, I'll just, go ahead and say something. However, I do not believe in trying to police other people's advocacy. Definitely we don't do that, because I don't know if maybe Lydia has not posted about end femicide, but she has sent 10 million to the end femicide movement. Why are we measuring your contribution to the movement according to just the platform that people are seeing? You don't know what other people are doing. I also, however, feel like creators and people with platforms need to also not be tone deaf. So if, for example, on this particular day there's something happening, like there's this person is being buried, or it's like a very whatever thing, and you just come on your platform and it's just as if absolutely nothing has happened, and there's no kind of like what do you call it, sensitivity to like things which are happening around you, which even if you're not necessarily talking about them, you don't come now and start making jokes about something related to what the issue.
That's for sure. No,
you cannot appear tone deaf. But let's not police what people are saying on their platforms.
100%. That's how we feel. And what you end up having is like people are just chatting shit. People don't actually believe in the things that you're doing, but you guys are pressuring them to do it. And sometimes people actually even use that to make more money. In case you don't know, it's like, oh, if I know that if I start talking about this thing, people are going to be like, come start following me more and whatever, and being like, oh wow, Joe, I just really like how you talk about these things. Maybe I don't even give a shit about that particular issue, but I'm trying to use it to create some kind of social capital, which if you ask me is sleazier than not posting anything to begin with. So you don't feel. And many people who find that maybe because their platform is a business, the way they handle it is very different. Maybe they're doing the things in real life, but they're not really talking about things on here. And the second means someone, I feel like I'm being pushed to talk about something, already it's a problem, because that means I'm being robbed of like really the true thing in my platform, which is I need to be authentically myself. That's how we feel. The things which we care about, you see.
Definitely
and it's not because we don't care about other things they don't see us talking about, but they might need more sensitivity and more careful consideration about how you're articulating it.
Especially because we are judged so harshly being on social media. Like, my God, you'll say one thing and be like, Murugi, next headline, you just see, Murugi condoles Stewart or agrees with what, and it's a quote maybe just taken out of context enough for it to look like you're saying something which you're not actually saying.
It's a dance of like being truly yourself and being cognizant of the power you hold. And that's a dance, because it's you are just saying it.
Exactly.
But the ripple effect sometimes is a lot.
What's your view on like this, how people especially like during this Israel-Palestine thing, have been doing like this cancel culture of like if there's a company, like I saw people were saying cancel zucchini because they were stocking some Israeli products. What do you think about that whole cancel culture of like if this brand has not responded in this way, then we need to cancel them, no one should shop there, no one should do this.
But that one is not a cancel them because they haven't responded in this way. That one is a cancel them because there's an obvious financial support towards that. I think people are definitely going to do that. If we know somebody has said things like the end femicide movement is completely stupid and what's the point, then you see me wearing that person's designs.
Yeah, okay, fine.
You know
that
what I mean? It's like
yeah.
there's a way, but then now sometimes it's like saying it's like we haven't heard this person say anything. You know, it's like
so not commenting is different from outrightly
supporting. And the people who, if I have something which I'm very passionate about, I'm allowed to put to aside everyone who's not supporting that because that's my view. So cancel culture really is me deciding who I want, like who I basically want to be part of, like what I want to invest my money in. So it's like I feel like it's perfectly fine for people to decide where they want to put their money based on what their value system is.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah, that was mine.
That was yours. Okay, fine. TMI, what is your opinion on hosting relatives in your home? So, for example, like you're married and like your mother-in-law staying with you.
Yeah. I feel like for me, I've always had this keep a clear line with your, like it's good to be warm and all of that, but there has to be such careful consideration the way you deal with in-laws because that's a very delicate relationship. So any place where we are here like stepping on each other.
Tough, right? Tough, right?
Tough.
Yeah, I agree with you. I had a season during COVID actually when my mom-in-law came and stayed with us. And if you follow me on Instagram, then you saw that journey. And I spoke a little bit about it, although not enough. I don't feel like I spoke a lot because obviously it's a sensitive time. But I will say this: it was. What is the word really? What is the word? Let's just say it was different. It took some getting used to having her in our space, and after some time, I think she stayed with us maybe like 8 months. After some time, it was clear, it was a really long time. And for me, it was a sacrifice because she's kind of old and she was unwell, so she needed to stay in our space because where she was staying, she just couldn't stay there. But after some time, it was clear that it was difficult for us to remain in the same space and maintain the basic level of respect. Because like you're saying, the everyday things of like, now you're wearing shorts and it's an issue, or you know what you serve your kids now, there's like comments about it, things like that. So it's just like I love you and you love me and we know that we love each other, but we don't need to be in a space where we are constantly having conversations about it. Now, for me, it's really interesting because during that season, I felt like I was making a sacrifice. However, my sister has lived with us for like the longest time. And for me, in my head, it never feels like, oh yeah, by the way, my sister is Zach's in-law. It never even occurs to me like that. It's only when I think about it deeply that I'm like, oh yeah, by the way, this is actually Zach's in-law. And I don't know, I guess maybe it's easier for me because it's my sister, or because she's young, or because it's a situation of necessity. I don't know about that.
I think it is his in-laws. I see that. But what I see more is like, because the dynamic between Nanji and Zach is like, it's like there's no power struggle there.
Yes,
with his mom and you, there's a definite power struggle, and also it's like the space is like she could say something that really affects you guys or whatever, but that would never really be the case with Nanji. Like, and Zach can even like kind of assert himself of like, okay, Nanji, you can't do this or whatever.
Exactly.
So he still has the freedom of his home in it, whereas
Actually,
when she's there is no
right.
really that much freedom of your home.
You're
so I feel like he has there's a difference in power struggle. But have you ever asked him?
I think I have.
Homework. She's got homework.
Homework, definitely. But I feel like if I was just using my emotional intelligence, seeing the nature of their relationship, it's very positive, and it's very much a dad-daughter kind of like relation. He's actually double her age exactly. She's 20 and he's 40, which is crazy because I had Ethan when I was 20. So when Ethan is 20, I'll be 40. Anyway, so it's definitely a dad-daughter kind of thing, and I feel like I've never sensed any kind of like tension. But it is good to actually ask because maybe there's other elements that perhaps I wouldn't know or whatever.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'll ask.
Homework,
guys.
Okay. TMI, do you think about, sorry, TMI, what do you think about abortions? Should it be made legal in Kenya?
Yes.
Yeah, this is definitely something which is like, we were just like, can we have an entire episode? It's so polarizing here. Us, we are pro-life. No, we are pro-choice, right?
Yeah.
If there's pro-choice and there's anti-choice. Because nobody is anti-life.
Yeah.
Nobody is
love
anti-life.
life, yeah.
Everybody loves life. We all know the value of a life. However, for me, it's insanity to impose pregnancy and or motherhood onto a woman because she's had sex. That to me is crazy. I'm never going to be able to get it. I'm never going to be able to imagine it, period. And one of the things which this thing, when we did law, is like, where does life start, right? And this is like from a legal perspective, not a religious perspective at all. It's like we need to make a mark. When was this person alive on their own? Because even though religiously speaking, life starts when you're in there. If you hurt a pregnant woman, you're not going down for double murder.
Yeah.
You're not, because they're not yet counting as this like one.
If you kill a pregnant woman,
yeah,
it's only one person you've killed.
Yeah, it does. The life doesn't yet count as
Right.
a person, because that would mean that the second they conceive,
They should have.
it's double murder. That's a bit severe from the perspective of law, actually. But maybe there's no way. There's no way. So usually now, like in the UK, it's like when the baby is like first born, like you've got to count like how many seconds when they come into this life are they a different, like there's just like so many dynamics. But what I personally believe is nothing to do with when life starts. It's more about the woman's body and her freedom over her body. That's what really I'm most focused on more than anything else.
Yeah.
But you know what? We'll link here the Kenyan laws on abortion and when life starts.
So abortion in Kenya is regulated by Article 26 of the Constitution. So it states that abortion is not permitted unless, in the opinion of a trained health professional, there is need for emergency treatment or the life or health of the mother is in danger or it permitted by any other written law. So usually that is like the loophole that people use to actually get abortions in Kenya, because it's just kind of like, how can you say that my life was not in danger, kind of thing. I personally am very, very pro-choice. I feel like nobody should be telling any woman anywhere in the world that this is a particular thing that you can't do, and that there's nothing which exists for any other human, for any man or whatever. But for women, it's like there's this thing that you cannot do. I feel like 100% women should have access to healthy, safe abortions if need be. However, I feel like because we spend so much time debating about abortions, I feel like if we spent that much time talking about contraception and people protecting themselves and being able to have safe and healthy sexual interactions, I feel like abortion would not even be one of those topics that is so heavily controversial. Because I feel like if truly the people who got pregnant were only the ones who wanted to get pregnant, or in the case of like a failed contraception or something like that, I feel like that would be a completely different conversation. I feel like the people who are anti-choice right now, it's because they imagine somehow that we are all just there, have sex, get an abortion, have sex, get pregnant, get an abortion, have sex, whereas there are so many situations that would cause somebody to need an abortion, like getting raped, or
I don't want to be a mother or have a pregnancy.
Yeah, I guess that one. But although my point actually for me is that I don't necessarily buy into that, only because I have been in South Africa. When I went to university in South Africa, I saw how that line between like just having rampant sexual behavior and just deciding that you're just going to do that, because abortion there is not only legal, it is free. So literally there would constantly be in the clinics just like lines and lines of women who have gotten tons of abortions, who continue to go and get tons of abortions. I absolutely think that anyone who needs an abortion should be able to get one. I think more women should focus on contraception so that we are not all just getting pregnant and we don't want to have babies. Because also it has an impact on your body.
It does. Not just your body, your mental health as well. Like that's another thing. So here's the thing. In the UK we did, I think it was sex ed from like year 9. We were like 12, 13. They still abortions. So the information about contraception is free. Even here, it's free. So it's like people know this information, but what? Because who has told them that it's free? Unless you're watching TMI. Do you see this is not a thing, like there's no outreach
to go and tell people. Even in South Africa, interestingly, contraception was also free there. But you would see tons of posters about abortion. You can come get your abortion here, abortions here, safe abortion here, but not about contraception. So even though it's us, we know it because we know how many women actually know that.
But I guess because sex isn't talked about. If you can't talk about sex, you can't talk about contraceptive, you can't talk about what contraceptive is, because you're going to have to admit that teenagers are having sex, and God forbid, because it's supposed to be abstaining. My point was that information about access to contraception, things like that, is like, people just feel like now they have more choice. I have a choice. And that expression of choice sometimes is abused. And people can do what you're saying, which is just like, have sex, go, have sex. So because it's easy in and out, which I think is definitely a problem. So for the way I personally think is that for sure we need to start talking about sex from an early age, so that people can be aware of, if there's sex, how do I protect myself from sex? And if I do have sex, then what options do I have? Whether it's abortion or whatever the case may be. But all of that is one line. And you're right, the reason why we always stick here at abortion is because we haven't started there.
It is the consequence.
It's the consequence, but the consequence of war. Let's start talking about that first. So I stand firmly on pro-choiceness, and it's completely up to you. You get to decide what you want to do with your body, and we don't get to dictate what happens. You know, I think what if it was imposed on me, and we don't think that motherhood and parenthood and pregnancy is enough of something that people should only go through it when they want to.
And hence family planning.
Gosh, I agree. But now if it's not that, and it's failed, and here we are. To be a mom by force, or to get pregnant and put up your baby on for abort, that is such a severely traumatic experience that people should only go through that when they're awake, when they really choose to. That's me. Go on.
No, I'm trying to just digest the I'm just trying to digest that what you're saying.
So bad.
I mean,
and I used to think, I guess, it's like the African context, but in America they're still having fights about that.
Crazy, right? Crazy. I personally just feel like the whole thing is obviously a systemic issue. Not enough conversations about sex, not enough conversations about protecting yourself when you're having sex, not enough conversations about contraception, and not enough. I feel like by the time Africa gets to the place where we are just legalizing abortion, which, to be honest, a lot of people still get abortions. A lot of people,
that's the thing,
kind of thing. Exactly. They'll still go ahead and do it. But I mean, I hope for a future where women are able to have more agency over their bodies and are able to make conscious decisions about planning their families, about keeping or not keeping a baby, about how many kids you have, things like that. That's what I've said. Okay, TMI, what is your opinion on dating immediately after a breakup?
That's not my thing, but I don't judge it. Literally, that's where I stand. For me, after dating, I guess because it's hard to see your patterns of behavior when you aren't taking a pause. Just like how it's like, as you say, you're told to eat slowly so that your body can know that you're full. But now it's like when you're dating in and out, sometimes you're not even cognizant of the patterns that you're participating in. And it's important for me to be conscious of like how my patterns are. And you can still be repeating patterns even after taking breaks. But for me, I tend to try and take enough breaks in between dating so that I can get my shit together. I can just be like, what's happening? Also, I hate when I'm like trying to vibe with someone and it's like it's someone else I'm thinking about. That makes me sick.
Oh, it doesn't make you horny?
No.
Oh, damn.
No, like I'm missing my ex and I'm here with you.
But maybe that's what's helping.
That's not my thing. I love it. Like now, how I'm dating is like
you've had the time to.
It's just
heal
this.
To whatever.
I'm looking at you, and the excitement feels fresh and just pure
and authentic. Like it's coming to just be enjoyed, not as it's coming. It needs to now hide this black spot here. It's coming to hide the. No, it's coming to be enjoyed. I personally think that. Also, I agree with you. I think dating immediately after. Have you had time to process why did that relationship end? If that person was not for me, why did I attract them? How can I avoid attracting this kind of person in the future? However, immediately it also depends, because some people would say a month is enough, depending on how long are you in the relationship. If it was a 3-month relationship,
Yeah.
You know, but also we can't say because maybe it was 3 months and it was very, very, you were really
Traumatic or
deep.
intense or
Exactly.
something.
Or maybe it was a 6-year relationship, in which case you probably need more time to be able to like catch your breath or something like that. I feel like healing is not linear. It is not necessarily time based. Some people will take a year, some people will take 3 years for them to heal. So depending on what you think you need, as long as you feel like you have done the work necessary for you to be able to not carry that trauma into the next relationship, which often if you go on immediately, probably you've not done that work. So I would say it's a recipe for disaster.
The advice I would give my younger sister is take your time. So that's it. So it's not that I judge anyone who doesn't, but for my little sister who's somebody who's like, I try to give the best advice possible. That's what I would tell her.
I know. Even the advice I would give my younger self, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always started dating Zach like literally 1 minute after I broke up with the boyfriend before him.
There you go. Here we are. Here we are. Oh, this one, first of all, it's controversial to me, but I don't fucking get it. But Jo has talked about it on her page. TMI, what do you think about nanny cams?
I think they are fantastic if the people who live in the house know that they exist. Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah. I think the concept of nanny cams. So there's CCTV and nanny cams tend to have different connotations. Nanny cams initially in Kenya, there was an expose that was done about nanny cams. Like I think it must have been in the 2010s at some point, and it was about people putting nanny cams but not letting their nannies know that the camera is there. So it's like I don't know, a chandelier, something like this. Yeah, who has illegalized it? It's your house.
Right, to film other people without their consent.
Yeah, but it's your house. And I think if you're not using it for like commercial gain, which you're not, it's just for safety then, you know. And so it's like now you've hidden it somewhere so that now you can catch your nanny doing something wrong. That's where initially that whole connotation of like, do you think it's good? Do you think it's not good? That's where it came from. Right. However, I strongly believe in being able to see what's happening in my house at any given point in time. But for me, it's like I want my nanny to not be doing the wrong thing. I'm not trying to catch her in there. I want to catch her hurting my children. I want her to know I am watching you. Yes. So kindly don't hurt my children.
Right. That makes sense. The hidden one is what
is it? Yeah.
What is it?
And then the reality is that you don't actually have time as a working person to always be checking. So that means at the end of the day, are you scrolling through the thing all the time to check what's happening? Guys, honestly, I don't think that we are. So I definitely agree with being able to see what's happening in your house, but tell them, just know that I have cameras. In fact, my cameras are big so they can see that the camera is there.
Yeah, I agree. No, for sure.
Yeah.
Like when you were talking about it and it was like this controversial topic,
you are like, I'm serious.
Lost. It's like, what is wrong with having cameras in my home, especially where my children are? My children, like whose view matters to me more than me keeping my children safe?
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I did not get that. Like I see people are just like, no, if you trust that you shouldn't. I was just like, what?
Why?
No, and then also, as my dad says, trust but verify.
Trust and verify. And verify, actually, Because, and then sometimes it's not always wrongdoing that you want to catch. People put cams, for example, if you're a working mom and you miss your kids' first steps, you're at work and you miss your child's first steps, you can have it on camera. Or your kids get home and like ours is like two-way sound enabled. You can hear if your kids are trying to talk to you, you can talk back to them.
So
it's lovely.
When you guys were on holiday,
that's the thing. It's not necessarily always you're trying to catch your nanny doing something bad. Also, there's a deeper issue if you're concerned about like there's something your nanny is doing that you don't want to see, or you're concerned that they are going to let's be serious. TMI, what's your opinion on conversations that people need to have before deciding to get married to their partners? Well, for me, there are some basics. Speaking about children, if we are going to get married, I need to know that you want to have 7, I want to have none. It's important for me to tell you that I want to be child free, right? Yeah. Values, things such as your approach to children, beating, your approach to
feminism, your Christianity, what are your views, things like that. Okay, so actually maybe I would even be in a better position because now that I'm dating, I am dating for marriage for sure. So date 1, date 2. By the way, I'm not going on no more than 2 dates to know this information. 1, timeline of settling down. People don't discuss that enough.
You're right.
They do not. It's like, you want to get married, I want to get married. You want kids, I want kids. Boom. But no one has discussed around when. And you need a ballpark. And if he says 5 years and you say 1, babe, because women are not in the position to
Babe!
women are not in a position to marry themselves.
Yeah.
You are going to be in a position, it's like he told you. So that's and let me tell you, that is a misalignment I'm not even having a conversation about. Go and speak to your nan. I'm not doing it. So timelines of marriage, what are people's money views, like how do they deal with money? For me, another one is, does this person have a community? Reason being, I am tired of being someone's kind of everything in a relationship. It's too much. So it's like, do they have that? What are their dynamic in their relationships? Are they family oriented? Have they been through traumas? Are they dealing with their stuff? Do they go to therapy? You know, it's like, what are their views about how a home would look like? What's a day in a marriage for you? Is it like I come home and you're at home cooking me dinner? Because lady is in TMI. She's a TMI.
And your man is up until 10 p.m. waiting for you to get home and cook for him.
See?
Yeah, be wife material.
Do you get my point?
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah. But you know what? Let me tell you something that I think though. Two things. One, there are some things about being in marriage that you can only experience when you're in marriage.
Facts.
But that doesn't stop you from at least having a conversation about what you imagine. Because we have all watched movies. We all know, like, you know, what basically we'll be living together. Do you believe I need to wash your underwear? You know, some things need to be said out loud. That's one. Two, I feel like conversations, there's a difference between having a conversation and your partner actually being honest about what they want.
This is true.
There are men who can, like, you can get into a relation and they're like, yeah, in the next year or two, I want to have settled down.
Yes,
Subtext, I want to have settled down with someone else. It's not necessarily with you. So maybe with you it's just killing time, but year 3, he's married to someone else. So you see, even those things of time, but it's important for you to have a general overview.
You should.
Of like the things, Do you think
that's 2 to 3 and you're not there, then you already know. And also, if it's 2 to 3 and as you're going through the year 1, there's no sense.
Exactly.
Year 2, there's some things which you're going to learn because you're right, people do present to be something, and now it's up to you to be picking the truth from how they're actually acting versus what they said.
Also, these important conversations, I feel like they don't all happen at the same time, because I feel like sometimes when we're speaking about it, can feel like, now day 2, we're at an interview. What are your political views? Go. You know, what are your religious views? Go. More often than not, that's not what happens. It's like in the as you continue to whatever, you can be like, we put something on TV and then someone comes up and someone is like, look at the Pope. Me, I don't even believe in these things for God. You don't now need to have a conversation. He's already said, he's told you what you need to know. Now it's up to you to take now the information and now make a decision if it's the kind of person that you want to be with. The problem with some of you is like, he's already said there's 2. With the kids, me, I don't like kids, man. Me, I don't think I'm gonna have kids. You refuse to hear it. You refuse to hear it because you're like, once he loves me, once he sees how great, once he interacts with my nephews and nieces, he's gonna want kids. Now it's year 7 and you're crying.
Let me tell you, it is a heartbreaking experience to align with someone who you're excited about. Really excited about, like you've seen like majority of the values in Ilini, but then one thing is misaligned. But that one thing is a very big thing, and it's not his fault that's misaligned or your fault. And so the courage to step away from that situation is not easy. It's not easy to come down. Oh, okay, so he wants to settle down after 5 years. Me, I want to settle down after 2. I mean, what? That's what you tell yourself. But no, I dig deeper. Call your friends. And one of the things I do is like when I'm dating is like I'm telling my friends so that if there's like my blind spots or like maybe the patterns I've repeated or the things that I'm doing that are not great, I want to have them give me views like, Lid, he said he wants to settle down in 10 years. You said 2. You know, it's like you speak out loud because you see when you make excuses. But it's hard. It's hard.
Also, sometimes it's like you I don't know, sometimes you might not even have such strong views about certain things. Another thing which I think is positive about dating when you're older or finding a life partner when you're older, I feel like when I met Zach, I remember us having a conversation about like settling down, but by the time I met him, he was 33, I was 25. I really hadn't given thought about like, oh, when do I want to get married? Like when when he met me, he was very clear about like, I am looking to settle down now. So when he asked me to just kind of like, yeah, I guess so. I mean, this seems nice. But now sometimes in hindsight, I'm just like, if I had thought in advance about that, I might have said, perhaps I want to date for like a year or two before settling down. But of course, now we just ended up going with his. I would highly recommend that you give thought to your own views before you allow another man to come in and now influence. Because now it'll be like, oh yeah, by the way, now that he said it, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, not having kids actually might make sense. Now you've been married for a while and now you're just wishing that you hadn't made that sacrifice. That's it. And sometimes you can also sacrifice, by the way. Sometimes you can compromise. You've always wanted to have 4 kids. He's always wanted to have 2 kids. But you talk and you decide you're going to have 3 kids.
Yeah, these compromises. Yeah, but those big ones where...
Yeah.
Who's it on?
Raise your kids in Satanism. Like,
not Satanism.
Yeah. So it decides that's what they want. They want Satanism. I think it was yours. Okay. Murray and Lydia, what are your views on a big age gap in dating for marriage? To be specific, he's 14 years older, but the connection is good.
That wouldn't really bother me. But I mean, I'm 30, he'll be 44. Like for me, the way I'm seeing things now is like...
Just be honest, no one is judging you.
Yeah,
no. For me, 14 sounds really a lot. 7 years between me and my hubby, but that didn't sound to me like that much. It just didn't sound like a lot. 14 years feels like a lot to me. I feel like sometimes the complexity...
But it's not unworkable.
It's not unworkable. Sometimes the complexity is not necessarily at the stage at which you are. It could be later on in life when now you're 50 and he's approaching 70. Now it's like there's just a different set of issues. Do you know what I mean? Also, just if you're mentally you are aware that sometimes there might be jokes that you will tell that he doesn't necessarily get, or that he kind of music or something that he will enjoy that you just will not be able to appreciate.
Yeah.
You know,
I
things like that.
think older men tend to make women older. Most women I know who date older men also act like they're that old, because it's just someone's going to come. Either you're coming to twerk with me at the club, or I'm coming to play checkers with you. You know, it's that's what I found. Like, and actually, there's somebody who I was seeing. I remember I talked about this, who was like in his 40s or something, and I could easily see how it's like you just shift towards what they're doing, because that's your man. You find
because
yourself
women
there.
tend to be like, I want to connect with you in your space. So now it's like you're doing what they're doing. You're hanging out in their places.
I think that's
14 years is a lot.
Yeah, and now now that I'm dating when I'm older, the chances of then you being older and being like a way older dad, like there's more implications than just vibes. However, I don't think it's unworkable. If I fell in love with somebody who was 14 years older, I wouldn't even think about it. I would just do it. But it's like, as I'm dating, I think I will be selecting in a different way. But if you find yourself there, you are. Speaking of TMI, what is your opinion on dating a younger guy? Let's say 1 year, 10 days. Just say it's you, babe. Let's say it's 1 year, 10 days.
I personally know for me.
So I said this. I was adamant. Like, I was absolutely not. Like, I dated somebody who was younger. The last 2 boyfriends of mine have been younger. And there's somebody who said actually about 3 years younger. And actually, we had this conversation with someone else actually. And it was like, we're talking about age gaps. And what I found, anyway, looking back in hindsight, is that the characters are not aligning. So you attribute those differences to age, right?
Oh, wow, yes.
He's immature. So you are like, you're immature because you're younger than me. No. He's this because of his age. You think it's because of his age, and because of that age gap, if you all make it a big deal, it becomes a thing that is just like, he's doing that because he's younger, she's doing that because she's older, and then now it's an elephant in the room. So where there's misalignment, period, stop thinking it's because of his age. It's not because of his age at all. Think about, is this somebody who you're aligning with? Does this make sense? Are they coming up to you the way that you want a man to come up with you? Because you're making the excuse in your head that it's because of his age. But really, he doesn't want to settle down the time that you want. He doesn't know how to act around people. He isn't a man of honor. All of the things that you want in someone aren't in this person. Then you find them, they're younger, and you make them feel shit about being younger. But the truth is, they were never an alignment for you. Because I've seen dynamics with someone who's younger and older, and you would have to ask to know, because the character of the person aligns with this person and it makes sense for them, you know? So that's why you see some of them are working and some of them aren't, because really the character
is what's actually doing I feel like, however, that definitely, the older you guys get, like now when if you're 30s, like if someone who's like 34, 33, I feel like the difference between that is not so much. However, someone who is like, you are, I don't know, 21 and 19, I don't know why I feel like when people are younger, it just feels like that a man being younger than you, it just feels like a bigger difference. I don't know why, just because they haven't experienced enough. Like, I personally just find myself more attracted to men who are older, who are more seasoned, who have more experience, and who are just more settled. It's difficult for you to find somebody who was, well, at the time I was getting married, from 25, 26, for you to find a 25, 26-year-old man who is financially settled, who is experienced, who is mature. It would have been difficult to find a 25, 26-year-old. However, now in our 30s, a lot of men in their 30s, that's when they are getting their shit together. So you see, it's a different conversation now than it would have been if when you were 24, 25.
100%. Yeah. And actually, for me, what I'm looking for in a partner is somebody who has all that. Somebody who's smarter than me, somebody who is more financially able than me, somebody who's smart. Did I say smart already?
Yeah, you said smart.
Yeah, somebody who's more organized, somebody who's got their shit together more than me. And if I find that in somebody who's like a bit younger, I've realized that it's
possible. Also, this thing of saying I'll never say I'll never anything, by the way.
But also you're allowed to have your preference. You meet somebody who's amazing and they're younger than you and you don't want to dig them, don't.
That's on you, sweetie. That's on you. That was yours. Okay, fine. TMI, what is your opinion on prenups?
I did law, so they make sense to me. But yeah, in fact, like for example, if I think if I married into like a really super wealthy family, right? So this money that is being protected isn't actually his money. It's like that's just what happens because they are from like this dynasty or whatever. I would not at all be offended to sign a prenup, not at all. But I don't know, as I think you said, I don't know if I'm in the tax bracket.
It's too bad who start talking about prenups. You have no money. You have no money. Don't ask about a prenup. You know it doesn't apply to you, honey. Unless you're asking for like someone else somewhere. People have to like literally.
But me, like when I think about like protection of your wealth, actually, like if a man approached me with that probably shakes a bit of what I already view what a man comes into your life to do. For you to already be safe from the jump, and it's protection of your money alone that I want to make sure that if we break up, you know, you go out with nothing.
No, you'll go out with what you came with.
Yes, as in nothing of mine.
Yeah, for me, actually, I don't know. I feel like maybe this is naive to think, but I feel like when I was getting married, I would never even imagine that there's this thing which is just like, I trust you, but just in case things don't work out, let me protect this other thing. I get it if it's like a super wealthy family, like sort of like you come from this huge legacy. I understand, you know, but I also feel like definitely somebody will feel some kind of way if someone asks them to sign a prenup.
Yeah, but I actually get it. I understand why people do that. Like I do, because some of the things women have experienced not having a prenup. You see, you always assume that it's you who has the money, but a lot of times what tends to happen is like you guys have met, maybe you're like this, and then you shut up.
Yeah.
Prenups also benefit women, by the way, because you can be the one who's paying alimony for the rest of your life. So I understand it. I do understand it. But yeah, I don't know if I'm like, wow, what a romantic gesture. You're
But also, you know, marriage is it's a legal thing. It's not really very romantic. It's like signing. I'm signing here that now I am tied to you forever. None of it is romantic. So why not just sign one more thing? Just sign and say that if you break up, you take what you had, me I take what I have, and that's it.
I'll need to sit and be in my body a bit if a man asks me to sign a
you need to sit.
I'll need to sit and be in my body a bit.
Okay. Speaking of marriage, someone asked, what is your opinion on it's not a marriage if it's not official? Officiated either traditionally religious way or AG way, etc.
Definitely, I don't think I would ever assume anyone I'm married to. Technically, according to Kenyan law, I was already married.
No, actually, no.
Yeah, I was. Why?
You see, they say about living together, but living together means that after now that living together, you can go and register and say you're married. But if it's not registered, you're not married.
Let me tell you, I actually know somebody who's currently going through a divorce right now, but they never had a wedding. Because once you're in a situation where it's like insinuation somewhat of marriage, when people carry you that way, or when you have kids and all of the
Yep.
Like they're going through a divorce. They never got married.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So it's like once someone is like seen to be like, or when you have kids, people believe that this is your wife. It becomes like it kind of is your wife. But anyway, somebody can tell us the law. I think somebody said that after you cohabiting after 6 months.
Yeah, it was like cohabiting
Something
for
like
6
that,
months. Yes,
right?
exactly. Then now it can be said that you are married.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's so what we saying?
Yeah, no, me, I'm saying for me, I feel like
Officiate it, for sure.
let's officiate it. Yeah, there's no reason. And also, if you guys are living together and you want to be married, why not just get married? Why leave it in the space of debate? Because I feel like leaving things in the space of debate, it's just like it doesn't work. It doesn't benefit you too. It doesn't benefit anyone else. Legally, what will they say? If right now that person dies, will it be somewhere? Does the law know that you guys were together? Why would you want to leave that open? And then if you that's the thing. And if you guys don't believe in marriage and you don't want to, because not everyone wants to get married. If you don't believe in marriage, then don't say this is my hubby and this is my wife. Just be like, this is my long-term partner and this is my boyfriend and my girlfriend. I feel like people crave the legitimacy even when they don't want to actually do the actual marital thing. Don't say you're married if you're not married, or get married if you want to be married. That's what I would say. Yeah, for sure. It's not official to me. It's not a marriage, because it's just not, and that's okay. That's okay. Me, I don't have any qualms with people not, but just exactly. Yeah. Don't say it is what it ain't. TMI, what is your opinion on obesity? Do you think genetics has more to it or general lifestyle? So we're gonna put a link below. There's a podcast I listened to about the doctor who is the one who has popularized intermittent fasting, and he had such an eye-opening way of thinking about obesity. So we're going to put it down here for like a proper opinion, but this is what I personally feel. There, just like with just about everything in your body, there's like a role that genetics play, and then there's like general lifestyle. But the people who have the genetics, the possibility of being obese, are going to probably find it harder to keep up or like to maintain some of these like healthy habits if it's already in them, right? But general lifestyle 100% plays a part. There's very few people alive who are in a consistent, healthy lifestyle, they've never deviated and are obese. It's factual. It is factual. That's the thing. Yeah, exactly. But there's many ways that genetics play a part, and then on top of that, for me, is like the environment you grew up in. If it's not your default setting to eat well, to work out or whatever, then it's hard. It's like it's something which you have to teach yourself. Just like if it's not your default setting to see healthy love, or if it's not your default setting to be in peaceful friendships or to love women or whatever, you are going to have to work harder at it. A million percent. Yeah, I absolutely agree. I feel like this one is not even opinion. It's just factual. It could be genetics. It could be general lifestyle. It could be other things. Like people suffer from PCOS, and it can cause them to gain weight. It could be a particular contraception that you're on that causes you to gain weight. It could be, there's so many different things, but like Lydia is saying, you cannot discount general lifestyle from anything, even if you're genetically disposed but you eat super healthy and you work out and you drink your water and you avoid stress and you have your 7 to 9 hours of sleep. There's absolutely no way that you will be overweight. But yeah, like you said, it's definitely both of those. I want to listen to that thing which you're saying about obesity. I told you, like, give me it, but essentially what he was saying is that people say things like eat less and you lose weight, which is factually true, but is it helpful? Why is somebody wanting to eat more? What is that? So it's like he goes into like the root cause of what is happening with your hormones and all of that too. Why is it difficult for these people to not eat less? And how can you go around it? Which is how he started intermittent fasting. But of course, as he says, intermittent fasting is free. It's not making any money if you intermittent fast, and that's why the fitness industry, the health industry, doesn't exactly support it, because who's making money when intermittent fasting? No one. Nobody. But they want to sell you the gym membership, then the meal plans, because the meal plans make sense. And sell you self-hate as well, because that's the thing that keeps it going. That's the thing. So true. I think that's our last one. We just need to keep that part. And we have so many, guys. I'm really enjoying the conversation because it's like varied enough, but also it's just like it's in depth. It's in depth. So yeah, thank you to everyone who actually contributed to this. We will continue the conversation in our next episode, which literally is a few minutes from now, even though we'll be in different clothes. But when you see us, just know we're shooting it at the same time, but with lunch in between. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching and for listening. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and tap that bell if you want to always be notified when we upload, although we always upload on Wednesdays at 12 p.m. without fail, most times, right?
We do, absolutely.
We do, absolutely.
And please give us your opinion in a respectful way.
Thank you.
2024 vibe still stays. It's like we can be able to disagree and have different views, but it has to be done respectfully. So please tell us what you think about abortion, about dating people who are younger, about all the things we've talked about. We want to hear from you as well. So that when people watch the episode, they also get an even richer
experience.
experience.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you guys. We'll see you in our
See
next
ya.
episode. Bye.